Hi, I'm Deborah Heal. I write historical fiction. A lot of times people ask me where I ever came up with the idea for my particular type of fiction, and I tell them it's because of a long love of history. I grew up in an old house. You can see it back behind me here. On the left is my husband's very old house, and on the right is my very old house that I grew up in. We grew up just down the road from each other, and so we both of us love old houses. And since I love old houses and I love history, when I was a little kid, I used to wonder what it was like in the olden days, and I used to wish I could actually see. So when it came time to write my first novel, I thought, well, what better thing to do than let my characters do what I always wanted to do, so they get to go back and see how things were in the olden days. However, there's a little twist on this. People tell me that I've never read anything like this particular type of time travel, and that's because my characters only go back virtually. They have discovered a weird and amazing software that is very strange. If you set it up in an old house, like one of these, for example, you can use the software to rewind time and see what it was like in the olden days. When people ask me, well, why did you ever come with that? And I said, well, I saw Back to the Future, and I knew I didn't want to mess with time-space continuum and all that kind of stuff. So my characters only go virtually. So when it came time to write my first book, I thought it would be really cool to put the old Heal farmhouse on the cover. So there it is. There's the farmhouse that my husband grew up in Macoupin County, and he was the 5th generation farmer there, and he grew up in that very old house, and I grew up in the other very old house, the brick house, just down the road from him, and we met in high school and became high school sweethearts. But anyway, when it came time to write my book, I thought how cool it would be if the characters could actually use that old house. Well, actually, the old house is almost like a character in the story, because when you set up the software, you can go back in time in that old house and see the people and events there. And so that's how I wrote the first book of the series. And then I had no idea that it was going to be a series, but afterwards I thought, this is a cool concept. I think I'm going to go on with this. And so I went on and wrote the trilogy about that same concept of using the software. It's called Beautiful Houses, and everybody, lots of reviewers tell me, man, I wish I had that software. And I said, I know, me too. And the first book of the trilogy is about that first summer where my character, Abby Thomas, first discovers the software. And then, after I finished the trilogy, lots of fans were saying, well, we want more, we want more. And so I decided to do a follow-up series. And so then Abby's no longer the main character. Her little 11-year-old friend that she tutored that summer is now grown up, and she is, her name is Meredith Randall, and she's a professor at McKendree College. And so now she uses the software to do research and finds out all sorts of cool things about places around the whole area. All my stories are set in Southern Illinois, and I love doing the research for it. I just say there are a million things that you could write about each and every little region in Southern Illinois, and I can't imagine ever running out of things to write about. So I hope you'll enjoy them, and if you like history, take a look at my website, because everything that I can't cram into the books, I put on my website as articles about the history behind the story, the real people and events that the stories are based on, because I do try to be as accurate as possible as I weave that fictional story into the history of it. So hope you like them. Thank you.